Okay, so we look at the owner for CDMT Mashulu LLC, and we notice that the owner is Marion Grant, and we see that right here, or at least it's a managing member. Typically, this is the owner that's actually signing for the mortgage. Okay, and so we would just come back to our spreadsheet. We put that in the owner or contact information, and you have a Marion Grant. Okay, so the next step, obviously, we have a company name. We have the owner of that company's name, and then we have the address. So the next thing would be to try to come to the white pages and try to find. So we come to white pages and we just type in Marion Grant. Um, this is a long shot, but and we put in Bronx, New York. And the reason we don't put in the exact address because we want to see what the search comes up with. So we're looking for Marion Grant in the Bronx, New York. It shows us here that there's one result. Never click on these. These are sponsored results. They take you to other pages, and these would be the actual results here. If you notice, there's a one for New York, New York, San Antonio, Hempstead, New York, a couple in Hempstead. You have Plainfield, Springfield, and you have a Maureen Grant, but no Marion Grant in the Bronx. So you don't. I mean, this is a New York one. Clearly, this is West 21st Street. There's probably no correlation to that. So that's, obviously we're not going to find anything um, with this particular owner on the white pages. Another thing that we can do is we can do a reverse address search. So we can come here and we can actually put in the address, which is this is 809 Arnow, which is 809 Arnow Avenue, and this is in the Bronx, New York. So sometimes we can't find the owner by the address. We can search for the name, and you just scroll down and see what comes up here. Obviously, we're looking for Marion Grant, 809, 809. Let me just keep going. So there's nothing here with 809. All these are starting to change now, but there's no 809 Arnold Avenue with a Marion Grant. Okay, if you notice, like this is an 809 apartment one. These are all 807s. You know, this is an 809 apartment two, another 809, another 809, but none of them are Marion Grant. Okay, so we've checked the address. Um, we can also now check this address that we have on Property Shark um, that came up here, which is the 4304 Bruna Avenue. We can check that here as well. And again, we're just playing detective. There's no clear-cut science to this. We're just searching to see what we come up with here. And here's the address, but there's no Marion Grant again. So that didn't pan out for us as well. Alright. So we've checked the white pages for no prevail. We've checked the Acris for no prevail. Alright. Then we will come here to the building information systems and see if there were any permits, anything like that filed on the property. We come here to building information search, and we can either put in the address here or the block and lot. I choose to do the block and lot. It's just simpler. If you recall, it was 3335 135 135. So the first thing we check, there's one job here. Let's see here. So this is the applicant. The guy's the plumber. This is something that we would necessarily take down only if it was relevant. If you look at the date, though, it was done in 1989. So clearly, that's not relevant. The file date's 1989. But if it was something like 2013, that would be something that may work. Other thing we check here is permits in process, and we come back to this. It says no permits from the properties found. Okay, so if we've checked this, obviously there's no information here that would help us out. So the next thing we would go to see is where the property tax bill is sent. Okay, so we'd actually look at the taxes to see where they're sent. And we do this, just put in that block and lot again. And we go to the last bill. So this is the November 22nd is a quarterly property tax bill that went out. This is the owner's name. This is the property address. So we'd click here, and to see the bill, we'd click on this link right here, and it would open up another window, as it is right here. And we have the mailing address for the owner, which is this 809 Arnell Avenue. Now, just keep in mind, we did do a white pages search on this address, which came up with nothing. So we just want to keep that in mind. Alright, so this is really not giving us much more information. This is just the tax information. You can see what they owe, what they last paid, etc. Again, this is all public information, and it's 100% free for you. So our next step would be to try to go to the Department of State, see if there's we can pull up the business name, and then you don't want to put in everything, but that should suffice. CDMT Mashulu. You typically want to do active. If it's not active, then it's not a good thing. And here's the information right here. But this was created. LLC was created on January 18th, 2007. Okay, so this information is really irrelevant. A lot of times, this is the attorneys or the filing agent that set up the information. But a lot of times you'll see information here down here as it pertains to stock price, or if they did the filings themselves, you would see pertinent information here. A lot of times you also see a name as well. But there's no useful information, at least for this particular one. Okay, so now we're looking at we know the owner's name in the app. We've gotten deeper in the company, but we don't have a phone number, and we have an address. All right. So the next step we're gonna do is say, okay, we've exhausted all of our options as far as trying to find the owner. Let's find somebody that is close to the owner. So we would go back to this Acris, and just click back here, and then we just go to the deed. The deed is very important because it has the buyer's attorney's information. Even though it doesn't have the owner's information, it has the buyer's attorney's information. And I'm going to show you where to find that in a second. Alright, so this is the first place you can find the buyer's attorney's information. Is typically the return to on the cover page of the deed. Alright, this Donovan Griffith. This is typically the buyer's attorney's information. All right, to double check that, you would also go. I usually start from the back of the deed and I work my way back. Just I see a signature here. Just magnify that and scroll down here a little bit. Okay. All right. So this was the name of the owner here. Just scroll back a little bit more. This is the affidavit. This is again typically signed by the grantor and the grantee. Now notice that these are signatures, so you can't really tell what's what. You know, obviously they're notarized, but you can't really tell who's who here. So that doesn't really do us any good. But it'd be another way. Again, sometimes you can. In this case, the oops, I went off here. Let me just go back. I think it was at page 7. Alright, so now we're getting somewhere. So if you notice this document here, alright, this document, the real property transfer report, typically shows the buyer's attorney's name and phone number. Alright, so you have the buyer's attorney's phone number here. So you want to write that here. And you can say, we gotta put buyer's attorney. Obviously, we're looking for the and then you just maybe do a dual screen here and type in the number. And depending on when the property is sold, you may want to just double check that as well. So I see that here, and there's usually 2 transfer forms. Let me just click 8. Okay, this is the smoke alarm affidavit. So we see it here again. See the seller's information, see the buyer's information. It's just a signature. Very hard to determine a name from that. But we continue to work our way back here, and this is the first form. And if we scroll down on this, and we notice the same thing: signature for the buyer, signature for the seller. Again, very hard to make out the information. I rarely use the seller's information. A lot of times the sellers did not really know that much about who they're selling to. The attorney is a better way to the seller, to the buyer, or in this case the owner, because they have more of a relationship typically, particularly if it's sold through a broker. You know, owner's not necessarily dealing with the buyer directly. They're dealing with the broker more so than anything. Alright. So I would just I kind of work my way back here too to the first page, just to kind of get an idea of the property. So it says CMDC Mashulu, and it's given this property address, the 189 East Mashulu Parkway. So clearly the owner doesn't live in that building. It's just done for the deed purposes, so that doesn't give us any information. Alright, so if we go back here, we come to the cover page. We did get some information though. Alright, and the key information here again was this one, the buyer's attorney's name. This is very important. So we have a Donovan Griffiths, so I would put that name here as well. Alright, and then we also have an address for him as well, which is good.